Hey everyone, glad you're here. It's Sean Casey. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope that everyone who celebrates Christmas had a fun and magical and wonderful Christmas experience with their family and friends yesterday. We certainly did, because when you have grandchildren, Christmas is fun, and I have grandchildren, so Christmas is fun. Today we're going to have an open Q&A session, so if you've got questions, and some of you do, and a couple people actually sent in questions, then we'll answer those questions. If you've got questions you want to post up in the question box, I will answer those. I have a lot of questions that revolved around how to grow my business, how to get bigger, and I've got some slides on that I want to go over with you, and then I'll get to the questions and try to give you answers the best I can, and we'll get rolling. So again, happy holidays to everybody. All right, so you could see my screen. If ever you could see my screen, in fact, let's make sure, just give me a big happy yes, and then I'll get started, but just want to make sure that that's getting through to everyone. Yes, okay, we got some yeses. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about, let me click on this so it'll move. First thing is, obviously, if you're not a member of our Webfire Facebook group, go ahead and join. It's free. Join, actually apply to join, and we'll get you approved, and then you can be able to post when this is all said and done, like every week. Okay, so how to double or even 10 times your business in 2019. Had a lot of questions for people like, hey, I want to grow my business. My business isn't growing fast enough. I'm not sure what to do. Where do I focus? How do I do that? This is obviously a great time. Most people are thinking at this point kind of, about their business for 2019, since it starts in 5 days, 6 days. And kind of, how do I grow? What do I do? Where should I focus? What's going to get me the most bang for the buck? So let's look at that and look at some of the ways that we look at this kind of stuff. We've built really big businesses, both in the internet marketing space and outside of the internet marketing space, where we do millions of dollars in sales. And, I think we got a good handle on this, both from, what we've done, and then from what we've consulted with other companies that we've helped to really grow and build a lot. So here's what I want you to do. This is kind of initially you need the bird's eye view of your business and what it looks like. And that bird's eye view is this. Just think of the process, how people and money flow into your business, right? So at the very beginning, you do promotion, whether it's free or paid. You can do advertising, however you want to generate people, right? So those people then become something that gives you a prospect, right? Which is, they're traffic to a website. There are people who walk into a physical location, to a store, to your shop, to your office, or there's somebody who calls you on the phone. And that leads to people becoming prospects, right? They're now on your website or in your store or in your office or on your phone, and some of those convert into customers. And those customers obviously are someone who's made an initial purchase, but we know that someone who becomes a customer is likely to buy more products and services, both initially, if you've got a funnel where it upsells products, as well as later on, they can become repeat buyers, buy bigger products, buy more products, buy related products, etc. from you, right? So Henry Ford revolutionized car building, okay? And how did he do that? He took what was a chaotic process that was inefficient, and he made it into an efficient process, and he created the assembly line. I'm sure you've all seen pictures or in the movies what assembly line looks like, and many products, including cars, still get built on an assembly line process today because it's really efficient, right? Essentially, you stack up all the parts, and as the what becomes the frame of the car moves down, you slap the parts on, right? So it's kind of like raw parts go in one end, cars come out the other end, right? I mean, you can all see that excuse me, that visual of how it works. All right, but we think of this as the money production line. Hey, how do we produce money in the business? In a good marketing plan, traffic and leads start at one end, and customer sales and profits come out the other end. And so visualize that with me, and think about, look, if we have good promotion, we get more people in the front end. And then if we have a good sales process, a good website, a good funnel, a good follow-up system, a good, more stuff to sell people, then we make money when people come through, and then we make more money if we make that process better. So there's more than one part to the money production line, where you can already see like that you could potentially make more money, right? For instance, if we got more people in the front end, okay, and we have any kind of decent sales process, right? More people means we make more money. But at the same time, even if you kept the same number of people coming in the front end, and you said, okay, so how can I make more money? Well, I can make my sales process better. Okay, so one of the things we're always doing in our survival business, where we do really high volume, we do December was slower, so we'll probably run 20,000 front-end transactions this month. So we can do a lot of testing, and we can come up with ideas to test faster than we can implement them usually, because it's a lot easier to think of it than do it, right? But we're constantly tweaking and testing and trying different things, and we changed one of our upsells this month, and we found that increased our conversion rate on an upsell by 7 percentage points. We went from 27% to 34%. Okay, well, that's a lot of money. Okay, and that's one of our best-selling products, which we probably this month will do 10,000 sales on, but in a normal month we do 15 to 17,000 sales on. Okay, so we do that, and I don't know exactly how much it added. Maybe it added $1 or $2. I don't remember the numbers exactly on that, but let's just say it added $1. Okay, and I do that 15,000 times, because you'd be like, it's $1. What's a big deal? Well, if you do it 15,000 times, it's $15,000. Okay, now since that's like $15,000 of which 90% is profit, that's $13,500 that we improved a process, incrementally, and made 13.5 times 12. Somebody here is probably good at math. It's probably like 162,000, something like that. Big number, whatever it is, right? I was probably high on that, but anyway, 144, 156, 162, close to that anyway. 152,000. It's a lot of money, okay? Nonetheless, and it's a lot of money for changing one thing. So these changes make a big difference. So when we're working on that, we look at the different parts of the process, and we're always trying to improve all of them. When we have a process where we can increase free traffic, increase paid traffic profitably, then we obviously want to do that, but we also want to continue to work to improve our production processes, how to get more sales, how to make more profits, how to do different things. Okay, so how do you do this? What does it look like when we go to analyze this? And I'm going to break this down for you so you can do all this. We'll have the replay posted for this presentation, and we'll include these slides. So you don't have to try to write all these down, because I probably in some of them will go faster than you can write. But don't panic, because we'll have this out for you tomorrow. Okay, but the big thing is, first of all, you need to know your starting numbers. Okay, you need to know what actually happens in your business. Now, I'm personally fanatical about this because this drives all of your decisions. And for entrepreneurs and marketing people, one of the enormous mistakes that gets made is that people think that stuff is working or doing something different than it really is. Entrepreneurs, like, we tend to have these great ideas, right? This is the most awesome idea in the world, and I know this is crushing it. Okay? Well, that might be the case, might be true, but if you haven't actually looked at it, okay, then you could be completely wrong. And the other thing that happens a lot, because we can see so much of what other people are doing, like things on Facebook ads and different promotions that you see, right? Where you're like, I see this a lot, so therefore they're probably doing great with it, isn't always the case. And so you've got to be careful to make sure that you know what really your numbers are and what's really happening in your business, what's working, what's profitable, etc. Okay? And then once you know what your real numbers are, you can work to improve them. Okay, so I'm going to just set up a hypothetical example. Okay, and now this might be bigger than your business is today. This might be 1/10 the size of your business, but it doesn't matter because we just need a starting point so we can look at what happens when we start working on and playing with all these numbers. Okay, and my lawn guy has decided to show up and blow leaves out of my yard, so I apologize for the noise outside my office off and on as he decides to do that today and be helpfully right in tune with the webinar time. He's normally a Tuesday guy, but because of Christmas Day, I guess he slacked off yesterday. Can't get these guys to do anything, right? So in our starting point, look at what we have for numbers, okay? So let's say we have 10,000 people a month and that our conversion rate of visitors to leads is 10%, and our conversion rate to sales of those leads is 5%. So 5% of buy, we get 50 buyers, right? And that our average sale is $200 and times 50 buyers is $10,000. And that our back-end sales, and back-end sales are super important because there's a lot of profit here, are in this case pretty bad because we got, an average sale of $200 on 50 buyers, but our back-end sales are only $100. Somebody who spends $200 up front will spend more than that on average on the back end, on the follow-up sales. Okay, but these are what they are. And remember what I said, you need to know what your actual numbers are. So we need to know what these things really are and how they work. Okay, now, in our survival business, our average front-end sale in our sales funnel is $12 or $15 or $18 through the whole funnel because it's all low-priced front end. And then it's, we generate leads, we generate more sales, people join membership programs, et cetera. And so our back end is way bigger than our initial front end. Okay, but and this is when we just hypothetical numbers right now. Somebody's doing $15,000 a month, $180,000 a year business, nice little business, right? Okay, but if we want to double our sales, okay, we looked at all those numbers. All right, all we have to do is either double one number, okay, or a combination of numbers, like maybe you increase traffic by 40%, but you make your average sale go up 50%, okay? And if you can play with these numbers once you plug them in any kind of little basic spreadsheet, and you can get an idea like, this is all I have to do to double my numbers. And that's your gross sales, okay? We increase some things that increase profits, it's even better. Okay, but let's say we double the first number. What if you double traffic to 20,000 visitors a month? And if you do that, obviously, all the rest of it goes up, right? Now, we didn't increase our conversion rate to leads or conversion rate to sales, okay, which you look at the conversion rate to leads on this, and you probably a lot of you are like, wow, that sucks, and I would agree with you, okay? And we'll talk about how to analyze your numbers once you have them before we're done. But all the other conversion percentages and dollars per sale and everything, all that stuff stayed the same. But we just got more traffic, okay? Even though I would argue that we don't have a great sales process, sales funnel, back end. Okay, there are easier things to actually fix. But, hey, it's a profitable funnel. We doubled the amount of traffic. We doubled the sales, okay? Everybody see that. Everybody understand it's, if you want to double your business, this is one way to do it, right? Just put more people in the front end, more money comes out the back end, right? Okay. Now, that as I said, went from 15 to 30,000 a month, doubling traffic. But what if you double two numbers? Okay, because this gets to be way more fun when you start to really increase things. What if we fix that lousy lead conversion rate and we went from 10% to 20%? Now, it's going to depend upon your business and what you can do, okay? But if you're not getting a high enough conversion rate of visitors to leads and you increase that, that's obviously going to make a huge difference, right? Because whereas before, we had 2,000 leads, right? And now we get 4,000 leads, which means even though the conversion rate of a lead to buyer is the same at 5%, we now have 200 buyers. So now we have, obviously, 200 buyers at $200 is $40,000. You now have the back-end sales to 200 buyers, okay? And your numbers are now at $60,000 a month. And we now have made a huge jump, right? I mean, we've now increased our sales by 4 times by doubling 2 numbers. And again, maybe you don't double 2 of them. Maybe you increase this one by 30% and this one by 40%, and you're working to increase different parts of them. But I'm not trying to turn this into a complex math problem. I really just want to turn this into something where you can understand what happens. But what if we fix our conversion rate? Okay. What if we increase sales copy and make it better, add in some bonuses, testimonials, something that makes our conversion rate get to be bigger? Okay. And if we could double that, that'd be really awesome, because the same traffic and the same amount of leads, but we double the amount of buyers. Of course, now we double that sales total again to $120,000. And we go from what was $60,000 up to $120,000. And doubling 3 numbers increased our sales 8 times. And that obviously makes a huge difference. Okay. And if you want to get an 8 times increase, you can do that by working on some things. And of course, that 8 times increase might be that you just have a newer business and all you really need to do is add a lot more traffic in the front end, and you get 4 times as much traffic, and you double the conversion rate on leads, right? And the 4 times 2 would still get you an 8 times increase in your sales volume. Okay. And we keep going because it's fun to do this. And this dreaming and visualizing and seeing what your numbers can be for your business is what gets you focused on making these changes and making these things happen. So I think this is really important. Whenever I try to talk about some of this stuff, I will get to people like, well, it's so easy on paper. And it is. Okay. But if you can't do it and analyze your numbers and plug them into a piece of paper or an online Google sheet or an Excel spreadsheet, then you can't do it in real life. I've built the multi-million-dollar businesses that I've built because I have made plans like this and said, hey, if we do this, we get this number here. And if we make this tweak over here, let's test and see if we can increase this upsell. What if we add another product to the upsell funnel? What if we switch out these products? Okay? And initially, the changes that I make get big results, okay? Because they're from whatever the initial sales funnel is. Now, on some of our funnels, the changes are incremental. Some of them only add 50 cents. And again, it depends upon your transaction. If you have a $1,000 average sale and you add 50 cents, big deal. Okay. But if you have a $12 average sale and you add 50 cents, it's like free money. Okay. Because you add 50 cents here and 50 cents there, and pretty soon $12 becomes $14, $15. Same product cost, same cost of marketing, same cost of sale. Same amount of work to get free traffic, right? But now you're making 25% more money. Okay. And that's a big deal, especially if you do it, 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 times a month and you build that business up. Okay. I go back a long way. So several years ago, this is probably quite a ways back, but one of the things that we used to do in our business, in fact, initially, so way back in 1999, before the dot-com crash, those of you old enough tax that remember all this, one of the things that I first started out doing online was doing lead generation, not only because I was like, hey, look, if I put people on an email list and send them email, I get paid. I always thought that was a smart concept and still do 20 years later. But I was selling leads to .com companies, to venture-funded companies who thought the same thing. Wow, if we built email lists, this would be really awesome. And they didn't know how to get leads, email leads, and I did. So I was generating traffic and email leads for them and getting paid per lead. And it was really kind of funny because, other than not getting paid, but in hindsight, when the .com crash came, we were getting named in bankruptcy filings because these guys owed us money for the leads that we were generating for them. Because when we were talking to some of these companies and the staff were like, so what are you guys doing with these leads? And we would even seed the leads just to see, like, hey, do we show up on a mailing list somewhere? What are these guys selling? Because they're just curious, always wanting to learn, right? And a lot of them were like, I don't know. I was just told like this month we want to buy like 25,000, opt-ins. We're just supposed to build the list. I don't know what the like business model is, which is kind of why the .com crash happened, because for like the internet is great, we should do stuff. And that was like the entire business plan, right? It wasn't really grounded in reality. Okay. But back then, because, sometimes we get paid $1 a lead, but some things that we'd mail to our list might make like, 5 cents, right, per lead. Okay. And you think, oh, 5 cents per lead, that's no big deal. But again, if you're generating thousands of leads a month, and today we make 5 cents, and this other thing makes us 8 cents, and something else makes us 2 cents. But at the end of the month, right, all those pennies per lead on something, they add up. Okay? And if at the end of the month you add up all your pennies and you made $1.50 a lead this month, you're like, well, that's like $1.50. Like, how big could that be? All right. But if you generate 100,000 leads a month, like, let's see, 100,000 times $1.50. Let's do the math. That's $150,000 in revenue, right? Okay. All that makes a really big difference. Okay. And for all of this, we obviously want to do as much volume as possible. You have to understand when you start plugging in these numbers and the incremental things and the dollars and the pennies, this really adds up to be a lot. So now we double 4 numbers, and because of the weird numbers I plugged in the front end, we don't go to 16 times. We go to 13.3 times, and increasing from $15,000 to $200,000 a month. Okay, it keeps getting bigger. And of course, we can double all 5 numbers. And if we do that and we fix the back end sales, even just doubling them, then we can increase this even more. And we can go from $15,000 to $240,000 a month. And that means we increased by 16 times in total. Okay. And again, you can multiply 2 by 2 by 2 and get a bigger number than 16. But again, it's just the numbers that I happen to plug into all of this. Okay. So this is the paper exercise, and this is what you should be doing for your business. Okay, is sitting down. Here's what I have. Here's where it's going to go. For those of you who or would say, well, I don't really have a sales funnel, okay, or I really don't have a back end product. Well, obviously you're missing out on part of your business. You got to plug that in, but you can at least plug in some ideas what you could sell on the back end, even if it's just affiliate products, other people's products. In our internet marketing business and our survival business, we sell a lot of other people's products as affiliates, as promotions through CPA offers, as paid advertising. We generate tens of thousands of dollars in an average month in paid ads to our list, where people are just paying us to send their message to our list. And there's a lot of ways that you can make money without having to create and own every product in your business, because you can do the back end in multiple ways from multiple sources of revenue without having to create everything yourself. But you need to, if you have not, write down what your goals are, where you're going to be. And you need to write them down. You don't just need to be like, yeah, like I'm going to be rich. Okay, see, that's not a goal. It's really important that your goals are defined, they're written down, they have a time frame. By the end of 2019, here's where I'm going to be. I'm going to have this website or this number of websites. They're going to generate this many leads. They're going to generate this much gross revenue. I'm going to make this much in profits. You need to write down what these goals are, and then from there you can work on the math to achieve those goals, okay, without having to become a super duper math whiz for all of this, but you just need to understand the basics of what will get you there, and then take steps to make that happen. Okay? And if you look at your business model and you say, well, this doesn't have a good profit, or this doesn't have a good back end, or this doesn't, then you need to either fix those things or you need to change the business model, because now would be a good time to change it if it's not working, right? This would be a good time to adjust rather than keep trying to do something, okay? And simply put, write down your goals, go make it happen. Just take action. Go do stuff. I know that makes it sound awful simple. I realize that, but it's not quite that easy. But for most people, okay, creating a huge increase in traffic, conversion, leads, customer sales, it's much easier than you think. Okay? In most people's businesses, especially if you're not doing millions of dollars a year in a finely tuned marketing machine, it's easy to make a major, major increase in what you're doing. And even in a multi-million-dollar business, we all the time find fairly simple to implement strategies that yield huge results for people because of what we have in our experience. In 2019, because not much is going to happen this year, but Brian and I are going to be personally consulting, coaching, working with a small group of entrepreneurs where we will be working with you directly. And if you are interested in that, us helping you to grow your business, like our survival business, for example, we've grown in, I think, maybe 2.5 years. When we partnered up with the guy who originally had the business, he was doing maybe, $5,000 a month, that now does more than $500,000 a month. That's a pretty good increase. It's very profitable. This is not one of those e-com store things where people are like, look, in the first month we did $50,000 in sales, and the guy's like, yeah, and it cost me $80,000 in cost to do it, right? That's not the case. It's running a real business, and I expect the survival business will probably double again next year. We just invested in a huge amount of inventory here as we approached year end, and we probably bought, I don't actually know how much. I know we bought more than 100,000 products to add to the inventory in our warehouse here in the U.S. So, when selling physical products, we got to go get inventory first. So there's a supply chain process that takes a little bit longer than when we want to increase the sales of something that's digital. But we're going to do a lot, and we've got experience in a lot of businesses in helping people to really achieve some great results. And if you are interested in talking with us about how we could work with you, what that would involve, how we think we could help you, what kind of plan we would put together, then email Brian@webfire.com with some basic info about your business. Just you don't have to send us like 47-page business plan at this point or ever, but we do need to have an idea, what you're doing, what your business is, what the market it's in, what products you sell, what's your website, what's your current sales volume, what's your projected numbers, what are your goals, where do you want to be? And if you tell us, dear Brian and Sean, I want to be rich, again, that's really not a goal. Okay, we can't. This isn't like going out and buying a lottery ticket. Okay, we need something a little more concrete to run on than that. Okay, so where are we going there? So we have open Q&A question, but hang on, I want to go back 1 minute just to the very beginning of this explanation, because one of the questions that I'm seeing from people is like, okay, so like, what do I do first to like try to double my business? Okay, and what you do first is whatever is easiest. That sounds like more fun, right, than doing the hard part first, and it is. But how do you figure what's easiest? Well, if you look at your numbers, okay, and let's say that you look at your business model, and in this case, at the very top, hey, I have 10,000 visitors, so that's a decent amount, right? But what if you looked at your business and you said, wow, I have like 10 visitors, okay? Well, clearly, the easiest way to double your business would go from 10 to 20, right? And obviously you can increase it by a lot more by going to way bigger than 20, of course, right? But, some of it is that obvious. Now, when you look at this business model and you initially see, well, the conversion rate to leads is, we're only capturing 10% of those people as leads. Obviously, here's a super easy way to increase the business, right? I mean, you could try 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different, offers to increase the lead conversion rate, right? And if we just got it to 13%, okay, just tested different offers, different headlines, different images, whatever. Just keep testing. Don't change anything else. Okay, just spend a couple weeks just come up with whatever ideas you can and getting somebody to make different pages and things to change the opt-in rate. I mean, if you went from 10% to 13%, right? It's not it doesn't seem like going, adding 3%, right? But that's a 30% increase, right? That's a 30% increase in sales. That moves you from $15,000 up $4,500 a month. That's like $50,000 a year, right? Because all you did was do some split testing on your opt-in page, and you added 3 percentage points. Okay, but you increased your business by $50,000 a year. And does anybody think that's like super hard? Seriously. Okay? It's not super hard. All you got to do is do it. And when you write down these numbers and you look at it, you go, wow, there's a number I could fix. Because that number is easier to fix than the sales conversion rate. Because that's more work to test and come up with new ideas and write new copy or make new videos, right? But you could look at this and go, look, wow, this wouldn't be that hard if I just focused on that lead conversion rate. I could do some good stuff there, right? Okay. Then the next number that just screams out when you look at these numbers is, hey, my average sales rate from an initial buyer going through my sales funnel is $200, okay? So let's just say that's a good number because I don't even know what we're selling. But what I do know is if people are paying $200 initially, and I'm only making $100 on average on back end, selling them stuff later, follow-up emails, whatever, right? That's not a really good number. I could do much, much better than that just on the basis of how much the people spent initially. And so on that basis, because I know people spent more initially, all right, I should be able to at least get that to like $200 a buyer, right? I just got to go find more related products and services that people are buying anyway or should be buying anyway. And whether I create them or whether I just go become an affiliate for other people or however I do that, it depends upon the market, of course. But it's really reasonable that you could just go find more stuff to sell and go from $100 to $200. If you did that in this process, right, you doubled that number of back-end sales, you'd go from 5,000 to 10,000. Okay. And, that's $5,000 more a month of highly profitable sales, $60,000 a year. So between those two numbers, not even multiplying them, which would give us a better number, and I can't do that off the top of my head, but just adding them together, you'd add over $100,000 a year in sales. And you didn't do anything hard yet. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying. Do the easy parts first. Don't look at this and go, wow, I really need to spend 3 months improving my sales process. Well, you do, and we always should be trying to do that. But if we look at the easy stuff, like, hey, let's just go test a bunch of stuff and increase the lead conversion rate. Hey, it might go to 15%, might go to 20, might go to 30, who knows? Okay. I mean, I've worked with people where we've had huge jumps. Again, depends upon the marketplace. Okay. We've got processes where, in some of our offers, we get opt-in rates that are like 80 or 90% for certain things. Okay. Now, that's unusual, and it's really specific targeted marketing and promotion, but it just depends upon your market. Okay. So what you want to do is start at the easiest part possible to be able to do that. All right. So the rest of the session, hey, we're just open for questions. So if you've got a question, you want to put it in the question box. I will do my best to answer over the next 20 minutes or so that we've got left before we finish our final training session of 2018. Makes me sound so old to be able to say that, right? So somebody asked, what's the best autoresponder you recommend? Well, pretty much anything that's a name brand that you've heard of is good. We use, besides the mailing stuff that we generate on our own, we use both SendLane and we use Aweber for different business segments, and we use Entreport. So they're all good autoresponders. The one thing that you need to be careful of depends upon what you're trying to promote. So some of the autoresponder companies are super concerned if you're trying to promote business opportunities, if you're trying to promote internet marketing offers with affiliate links. Some autoresponder companies are more friendly to that. Some of them will just automatically block promotions like that. You would be fine with something like SendLane, for example. The owners of SendLane are guys that I know, and they got their start in the internet marketing world. They didn't come out of like a corporate business model, so they're straightforward guys in wanting to do that. And again, if you guys have questions, just type them in the question box, and I will answer those. Somebody was asking for the Facebook group. So the Facebook group is right there. You just type that in your browser, getwebfire.com/FB group. That'll just redirect you into our Facebook group instead of having you type the longer Facebook link to be able to get in there. Somebody was asking about their business. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. They do personal consultation for energy work and for things like Reiki and for feng shui, and had sent in their website for me to take a look at. And I'm not sure how to say her name, so I'm not even going to guess how her name is actually said. But the website is a pretty good website. One of the first things that I noticed was that you do sessions in person and distance sessions, but you don't actually say where your office is and where you're located. I think that if you're gonna offer things on a local basis, and a lot of people, particularly if you're going to do feng shui, we're going to come into their home or business and help them to arrange their possessions and furnishings and whatever else for a good flow of energy. Someone's going to want to know where you're located, right? They're not going to be like, hey, I'm in California or I'm in London and I want to hire you, and you're not anywhere near local to them. That's not going to work really well, right? And if someone wants to come for an in-person session, they'd want to know where you're located. And one of the things I would specifically do is we always talk about for businesses that are something in a local market is to have pages that are specifically related to how people do searches and the local market. So let's say, for example, that you're in Atlanta. And if you're in Atlanta and you do personal consultations or you do healings or you do energy work or whatever, you would want to be working to get yourself ranked for those terms and Atlanta. So in a local market, if someone is searching for you here, they would find you, because that's where you're going to get a huge amount of your business is from doing that. The other thing, because you're asking about how to get more traffic, so that's the first and foremost thing I would do. Because again, it's really hard to be like, I want to be number one across the globe for a keyword. That's a really good goal, but it's the end result of a lot of time and work, because you're fighting against a lot of competition. But you can more readily get set up and ranked in your local market much more easily than you could do something like that. Okay. All right. Okay, so Mark says, I'm just starting my business. Just have a website, no traffic yet. What's the best way to start getting traffic? My business is Facebook advertising and video creation for business. Okay, so Mark, first of all, I don't want to sound rude, but if your business you're promoting is Facebook advertising, right? Then there's an obvious thing that you could run Facebook ads to get business for your Facebook ad business, okay? And a lot of people do that. The other thing is that I would, on my website, when you get your website fine-tuned, would be same thing we talked about, and I was talking about this last week in the Q&A or in the website analysis training, is getting my business set up so that you said you're in Texas, so in the towns around you in Texas where people would be automatically searching for someone to do business with, because again, somebody wants to hire a person to do Facebook advertising for them. Most people think local, okay? They're going to think, hey, I'm looking for a Facebook ad guy. They don't think, hey, I'm going to hire a guy from Atlanta, okay? They're going to feel much better hiring somebody who could physically, they could meet, have in their office. They're like, look you in the eye. They're just going to find that easier, and that's the way they're going to initially be looking for somebody. So I'd work to get my website set up to rank for the local communities, and that would be something where you could do that. And I would work to create content that would relate to people in those local communities and globally that they're going to have about Facebook advertising. Okay. So, what questions do people have on, Facebook advertising? Well, how do I advertise on Facebook? Why don't my Facebook ads work? I heard Facebook ads are expensive. And you want to answer like one question in every blog post, and if you can, turn them into videos. And presuming you're a Webfire member, you can just use our Webfire video tool to convert text into videos. You can post on YouTube. You can then take those YouTube links and embed them in your blog. So now you've got a video and the article. And of course, anyone who shows you your website and they start saying, look, this guy has like all the answers. This guy's an expert. This guy's got videos. Even though there are videos where you don't have to put your face on it. If you don't get on camera and record, I completely understand that. I don't like to do it myself. Then you can create lots of content and just keep knocking out content pieces that are going to give you a chance of getting ranked in Google, ranked on YouTube, getting people to consume, because people will type these questions in. You start typing in questions about Facebook, you see Google start suggesting answers that people have typed in. Best way to advertise on Facebook, best way to advertise on Facebook on a budget, best way to advertise on Facebook for a local store, for a local bike store, for a local, consulting business. All right. People are searching for all of this kind of information. And when you can be the person that has the answers to those questions, you're going to be really, very credible, and you're going to show them that you have expertise, even though you don't have a big client base to start with, right? But people that see you are going to be drawn to you because of the expertise you have in having created all this content and having all these answers for them. And that's also going to help you rank really well for your business, and the people that you draw in are going to be super high qualified as prospects because they're already asking questions and wanting things that are related to you being able to make money for them, and wanting to spend money on ads, which makes them potentially perfect clients, right? I mean, you got a guy who's saying, how do I spend money on Facebook? Or how do I spend money on Facebook better? Or how do I improve my Facebook ads? How do I make an image for Facebook? How do I make a video for Facebook, right? Just make like every question you could think of, okay? You could even go to Google and type most common questions about Facebook advertising, and probably there's a list of them that somebody's already made. You can go take every one of those and just break them out. And if you don't know the answers, just go type the question into Google, and you can go find the answers and come up with the answers. And if you do that, you will set yourself apart, and you will generate some traffic and make sales and do really well. So hopefully that helps. Okay, and as Jason just wrote, authority builds trust and credibility. Because we do get the question a lot for people like, Okay, I'm just starting out. How do I make myself credible? Well, that's one way. Obviously, testimonials and proof from satisfied clients is great, but it's like the age-old question we faced as children trying to get our first job, or at least I felt like a child at 15 or 16 going to get my first job, right? It's like, the first thing they ask is, do you have any experience? And you're like, no. And they're like, okay, we only hire people who are experienced. Like, well, how do you get experience if you can't get your first job, right? In this case, you kind of create that credibility by showing how knowledgeable you are about the topic, okay? Mark, you're welcome. Martin asks, how would you go about promoting a fiction book like this, my son's book? Martin, I can't click on that link, nor not knowing the topic would I open it blindly. But are you selling that book on Amazon? Or is this you're just selling on your own website? I'm going to guess you're selling on Amazon or on a book site for a fiction book like that. And yes, on Amazon. Okay, good. Well, first of all, there's some training on how to sell on Amazon that's inside the Webfire member area. If you just search, and the training videos are searchable by keyword. If you search for Amazon, you'll find some training. But let's think about how Amazon works, okay? So we have the at least in the U.S., they sell like half of all the e-commerce sales in America are on Amazon. It's a ridiculous number, right? So our credibility problem is solved, right? If you're on Amazon, you have credibility because they're not worried about it. Amazon's taking their money, right? So we don't have any of that problem. The real question is, how do we get them to find your book? So one way is to promote the book in places that people are already looking for this type of product, okay? It's not like, I don't think most people go on to, whether it's Amazon or Google, and they type in, show me a new book by a random author that I never heard of and I'm not sure what the topic is, right? Because nobody does that, okay? And the way we generally get interested in new books is, this is a book for people who are fans of fill in the blank, John Grisham or Stephen King or Lee Childs or whoever it might be. So what you want to do is first of all, think of the book like, okay, who are the people most likely to be interested in this? People who are fans of, obviously a certain genre, but even the authors and the way they write within that genre, because they're going to be the most satisfied customers. They're going to give you the best reviews. And then when you're going to promote the book, think about where you would promote it. Like, go start thinking of, forums and blogs of people who talk about, books and content in this market. And if you're part of like Kindle Unlimited, if you have free promotion for your book, where you're offering it for free initially just to generate reviews and things, then there are sites, and we actually have a software program we don't talk about much because we just use it internally. But if you email support, they can give you information about it that will promote your book, your Kindle book on Amazon, into a lot of places that we've found where the members are looking for notifications when free books become available, instead of having to pay for them. And they're in all kinds of genres. So whether it's fiction, whether it's business, whatever it might be, and so you're not spamming them. It's not like you're just spamming the world going, hey, I've got a free book, you guys should get it. These are people who want to know when there are free books because they want to go get them. This is what they do. They want to be able to do that. Okay, and it's in crime fiction. Okay, good. So you look at what it's like. So you want to go and you want to promote wherever you can. Find bloggers that write about crime fiction, okay, and whether they take guest blog posts, whether they might review your book. If you're super nice to them, you never know. And then on Amazon, they live and die, for the most part, on the sales rank, right? So we see the bestseller ranks for books. It's really, really obvious, but even for most products. And so for Amazon, the more you sell, the more they like you. And as long as the more you sell and you get decent reviews, the more they like you. Because Amazon is going to reward people who sell more. And the reason they reward people who sell more is because Amazon is running a business and they're trying to make money. I mean, there probably is a guy at Amazon who actually cares whether or not the books they sell are any good, but he's dwarfed by the finance department who doesn't really care. They just want to sell a lot of books, right? So when you go to promote anything on Amazon, what you want to try to do is bunch your promotions together. So if you were going to be, if you get a couple bloggers who are like going to review the book, and you were going to run some ads on Amazon to the book, for fans of, I can't think of a crime writer, but off the top of my head, but, for fans of, this person and this person, you guys would love this new book by, your son, right? But you want to like bunch all your promotions together because the promotions are going to cause a spike in the sale of your book. And let's say you sell, I'm just going to pick easy math. You sell 100 books a week on average and you're ranked, whatever, okay, in your category. And, if you did some promotion every week, you could increase that to like 130 or 40 books a week, right? But if instead of doing like a month of promotions where they're all spread out, you did like everything happened in like 2 days. And so you spike from like 100 sales this week to 500 sales, okay? That is going to shoot your seller rank way up the charts, particularly in books where if you pick all your niches right, some of them aren't super competitive, but then you start to get that I've got a higher rank and Amazon starts showing your book as a suggested book with other books and you naturally pick up more volume. And the way you're going to do that is to shoot up the rank as fast as you can, as much as you can, all at once. It's that huge push, okay, that you can do. And then once you can create, fans of your son, fans of the book, you obviously can build on the volume from there for the second book and get people to, follow your son on Facebook and, inside the book, do obvious things like, hey, here's how to get on our mailing list. Here's how to get free bonus content. Here's how to get a free free chapter. Here's how to get, my unpublished novel for free. It's not available for anywhere else. Just go to our website and register for our mailing list or whatever. Join our Facebook group and chat about crime fiction, right? I mean, it's just then doing the same things you would do to work business leads. Do you want to build the following for your business? Because your rabid fans will be your best fans. They'll come by everything. They'll follow up with everything. Okay. All right. So I think I got pretty much everybody answered, and we're not going to run long today because there's no reason to in the middle of the holiday time. So we're going to jump over to Facebook and see if we can't give away money. All right. So hopefully you guys posted in the right place. Martin, you're welcome. And let's refresh the page. And Sharon's post where you should have posted will show up there. And let's go to random.org where we can go get our random number. And all right, so we've got comments there. Let's see. Whoops. Anybody else comment down below? Okay, that's last week's. Oh, good. You guys stayed off last week's. And you guys are all focused and everybody's posting now. All right. Give you guys another minute or two to post. And see it happening in real time. Bing, it's always fun to see stuff happen in real time, isn't it? That's why you get addicted to watching stats after a while. When you're doing a promotion, when you're doing a split test, just sit there flipping the refresh button. Oh, look, this one's winning. Hey, look, this is what's happening here. Hey, by the way, speaking of stats, when you're split testing opt-in, so if when you're doing split testing, you want to get to what are really statistically significant results, which on small numbers is hard to figure out. And on sales, it takes longer to figure out because you got to get enough sales volume from enough of the same type of traffic to be able to figure out what happens. But when you're split testing opt-ins for leads, you get results much faster. First of all, because there's way more transaction volume, right? I mean, the amount of leads you get is way more than the amount of sales on the same amount of traffic. But because leads don't require anybody to actually pay money, when you see the difference in conversion rate on lead pages, it doesn't take a lot of clicks. I mean, if you're doing a 5-way split test and you got 100 clicks on each one, 500 clicks in total, you actually have a pretty good idea which ones are best right off the bat. You'll see like one or two that are like seem way better than the other ones. They probably are. You can start to narrow those down much more quickly than you can like a sales thing. Because I've had sales stuff where you're like, oh, look, this one has like 12 sales and this one has 5 sales. Okay? And you come back the next day and the one that had 5 has 27 and the other one has 24. You're like, okay, the good news is I made more sales. The bad news is my numbers are so close I don't know which one won yet. Okay? But on leads, you're going to find it's going to happen much faster. All right. So we are at 23 comments, and you guys stopped typing. I knew we were going to have a light number of people today, so that makes it easy. Nobody else type, and we're at 23. And I'm going to guess that the winner is going to be number 5. Whoops. Okay, and somehow we jumped right out of random.org. I don't know why. Oh, because I hit search instead of this. That's why. All right, hang on. 23, and I'm still guessing it's going to be number 5, and it is number 14. So if you're a number 14, you're ending the year on a high note here. All right, hang on. 23 comments. Whoops. Show me all the comments. View 13 more comments. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Jeff is 12. David is 13, and Jeff Green is number 14. So there you go, Jeff Green. You are the winner. Congratulations. Post up your post in the question box with your PayPal email address. We'll shoot you $100. Congratulations. Everybody, I want to wish you very happy holidays. Happy New Year. I hope it's going to be awesome for you, as I know it is for us. And you'll make it more awesome if you follow what I've just told you. You set goals and write them down and take action to achieve them. And we hope to be able to help you guys out a little bit with that. And again, if you are, let me go back because somebody's just asking about this. For those of you that are interested in getting Brian and I to work with you personally to turn your business into a lean, mean, profit-getting machine, then go ahead and send this information into Brian at webfire.com. Just basic info about your business. If you miss something, don't panic. We'll ask you for whatever else we need to know. But go ahead and do that, and you can get some terrific assistance from us, and we'll set some big goals. We'll hold you accountable, and we'll help you to kick butt in the new year. So again, happy holidays and happy New Year.